What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? Welcome back in. Detroit done 3-1-3. Steve solo today. Everything's okay. Everything's all right. Will and I, day off. He's got a football game. He's out coaching right now. So Fridays, you'll probably see some solos unless we can get together in the morning times if we're both off work. But that wasn't the case today. I was working. He was off. He's got football at night. He put out a solo a little bit ago. My turn tonight. So everything's good. Will's not fired. He's going to be back with us tomorrow. We're going to try to get that game day episode out as fast as possible. Hammer that subscribe button for us. Greatly appreciate it. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job of that. Truly, truly appreciated. I think it's time to do a little dive, a little dive into the deep end of that pool. I want to get some names out there for the Detroit Lions at the trade deadline. I don't plan on doing a lot of trade talks. I don't plan on doing a trade show every other day or, Monday through Friday. I'm not going to be talking trades, but there's a couple guys I got my eyes on right now. These are probably my top two dogs. I think one of them's realistic. I think the other one might be a little bit far-fetched. I don't know. We'll dive into that as we go. But I think what our goal is with the deadline being 2.5-ish weeks away, it's coming up. It's coming up fast. I'm looking at the current makeup of this Detroit Lions team. I love where we're sitting. We're at 4-2 right now, looking to go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a couple nights and make that 5-2 with a monumental win over a conference opponent that could have some major implications down the line. I want to look at how we can make this team better. That's my only objective here. Listen, just because this is my opinion doesn't mean that there's other players out there that I don't think would be great fits for the Detroit Lions. If you have some names, please leave it in the comments. We'll do a dive into it. We'll look at the contract stuff. We have to look at a lot of things. We can't just say, hey, we're going to trade for this player. This is what we're going to do. Like, you have to factor in what we're giving up, where they are in their current contract, how the current team that they're on is looking. Are they in sell mode, buy mode? All that goes into effect. We can't just throw out a name and just say, yeah, he's going to be on the Detroit Lions. I try to do it as realistic as I possibly can. In the past, I've thrown out some big names at trade deadline time. This time last year, I was pounding the table for Myles Garrett. Hendrickson was still an option. Max Crosby. I was wanting one of those three guys. I think I'm being more realistic tonight. I think I've got some guys who I think could realistically possibly be traded with all the things I just mentioned above. Not huge splashy names. I'm not talking Pro Bowlers or future Hall of Famers or the absolute best at their positions, but there's a couple guys I think could come into the Detroit Lions right now and either start or add some very, very, very talented depth. So my first guy that I'm bringing up, listen, Roger McCreary of the Tennessee Titans, mostly considered a nickel back. So if we're going to trade for him, he's a young kid out of Auburn. He's on the final year of his rookie deal. The Titans are in absolute shambles right now. They just fired their coach. The team's not playing well. The offense looks bad. The defense looks bad. They're a team that could probably use a draft pick or two to really bolster their rebuild process. I know they got the nice young quarterback, Cam Ward, down there. They're all really excited, trying to rebuild, but it's going to take them some time. It's going to take a couple years. They need to do essentially what the Detroit Lions did about 4 or 5 years ago with hitting a home run on their coaching hire, hitting a home run with some GM moves. And if you're going to do that, you need some draft picks. So if the Detroit Lions are going to make a move, obviously you're going to have to give up a draft pick. I don't think we're giving up anything crazy here. A day 3 pick, I think would get the job done for a kid out of Auburn in his final year of his rookie contract. Mostly a nickel cornerback, not a true outside corner. But if we're talking about Terrion Arnold getting healthy, if we're talking about DJ Reed getting healthy, if we're talking about still having Amik Robertson as a nickel, and this is a kid you can bring in, I'll talk about some scheme stuff at the end and why I think that this is a good fit, because I'm going to talk about the second guy and it'll kind of tie together. But our secondary is banged up. Our secondary is just flat out banged up. So I'm doing some research. I'm looking at Roger McCreary. I'm looking at where he ranks. He's not a shutdown corner. I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to be giving up anything crazy for a player like Sauce Gardner or some of the top end corners who might be available. This is more of a middle tier guy for depth, for some peace of mind, for some injuries to come in, play a role. I don't want to be in the Kendall Vildor boat we were in just a couple years ago, where we're snagging practice squad guys and putting them in the NFC Championship game and expecting magic to happen. I do think that he would just bolster the defense a little bit. Nothing groundbreaking, Probably not going to be, making any Hall of Fame anytime soon, but I would feel a little bit more comfortable just with some secondary depth with all the pieces that were banged up. Brian Branch suspended, still banged up. He's got a couple weeks to heal. Kirby Joseph banged up. Like Kirby Joseph was going down almost every game with an injury. That knee is bothering him. I don't know that it'll magically be healed in 2 weeks, but I didn't go to medical school. I don't know how that's looking. So at the very least, if he's someone we can shuffle around into the corner nickel spot and Kirby has something go on, Terrion Arnold is a guy who can go play safety. I know we still have Avonte Maddox and Rocky Scene, but Terrion Arnold was a safety at the University of Alabama before he converted to a outside corner. So there's some versatility there with Terrion. And I'm not saying that that's a permanent move, but me and Will have kind of hinted that that might be something later on down the road in his career where maybe that's a really good position for Terrion Arnold if we get to that point with the Lions and what we want to do with TA. But Roger McCreary, again, not the most flashiest move, not the sexiest name. You guys are probably sitting there trying to Google him right now and look him up. Listen, I'm telling you, depth piece. Just a depth piece here. Nothing that's going to rock the boat. We're not giving up first-round picks. We're not giving up second-round picks. I think a day 3 pick gets this done. All right? I'd love to have him. If the Titans are willing to sell, if they're looking to add some more draft pieces for their upcoming draft and to try to speed up their rebuild, I think that this is the type of guy. Second on my list. This one's a little – it's not the craziest thing in the world, I don't think. Listen, I was watching the Bengals game. All right, we were down in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. They lost to the Detroit Lions. They went to Green Bay, lost to the Green Bay Packers. And I was sitting there thinking, all right, Thursday night football. They just traded for Joe Flacco a couple weeks ago, right before the Green Bay game. I think that was kind of their desperation move, trying to save the season. And I'm sitting here just last night watching that Steelers game, kind of licking my lips, hoping for the Steelers to get a win so that maybe the Bengals are more in a sell mode, but they ended up winning that game. And you're probably sitting here thinking, Steve, you just said you're not trying to trade first-round picks. Why are you even hitting at Trey Hendrickson? Well, I'm not talking about Trey Hendrickson when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals. I am talking about someone on their defense. I am talking about a former Michigan Wolverine, DJ Turner, who went to the combine and ran a 4.26 40, blazing fast. He's still got a little time on his contract, though. He's not on an expiring rookie deal like Roger McCreary. He's got a couple years left. So with that, I think it might be a little bit more pricey to get him. Maybe early day 3 or a late day 2 type of draft pick, a third rounder. I think maybe gets it done. The Bengals, I don't know what's going on with the Bengals. I don't know what they're doing. 1 minute, it looks like they could be the worst team in the AFC. Then they pull off a couple wins. They make a trade for Joe Flacco. They're giving up capital, trying to save their season. I don't know where their boat's headed. I have no idea. With their division, they could very well win the division. They could very well finish at the bottom of the AFC. I have no idea what's going to happen with the Bengals. Offensively, they're loaded. They got a lot of big contracts. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson just got re-signed. I don't know how much more they can afford. I don't know that DJ Turner is going to break the bank when it comes to free agency if they decide to just wait out his contract and pay him. But if, and this is where I think it's a little far-fetched because of where the Bengals are, they're not fully in sell mode yet, I don't think. But I think they're knocking on the door. I think they're knocking on the door of selling. DJ Turner, a true outside corner. Listen, I've been watching this kid since he came to the University of Michigan. He was a stud there. He was a late second-round pick like 59 or something, I believe, a couple years ago by the Bengals. He's went there. He's done very, very well. He's not Sauce Gardner, guys. I know that's going to be the comparison. He's not a true shutdown corner. I think you can put him on an island one-on-one, and more times than not, he's going to win. He's currently leading the league in passes defended with 13. Now, the PFF stat says 8 passes defended, still first in the league. So I don't know which stat's true, either ESPN or PFF, but either way, he's first. With his speed, 4.26, that's fast, okay? What I think sometimes Terrion Arnold lacks is he doesn't have that crazy athleticism to make up when he does get beat. Sometimes he's in good position, but sometimes someone gets a step or two on him and he just doesn't have that speed to recover. DJ Turner, problem solved. Check that box. I think you could put DJ Turner outside. You could put DJ Reed on the outside, opposite of him. Those are your two corners. And now what do you do at nickel? That's kind of where the competition is with the Meek Robertson, or is it going to be Terrion Arnold? Maybe that safety position kind of creeps back in there for Terrion Arnold if there's a boo-boo and we have to slide some pieces around. I don't know. I just think that DJ Turner takes this defense and he gives us what we're truly, truly missing is just an athletic freak at corner with great speed, great ball skills, doesn't get flagged a lot. I think he's probably not available, if I'm being honest. This is just maybe a little bit of a pipe dream. I think the chances of a DJ Turner trade happening to the Detroit Lions is 5%. But if the Bengals want to bolster up some other positions where I see some concerns with them, mainly along the offensive line and maybe some other pieces on defense, I know it's hard to say why would they trade defense when they need defense. Maybe it's because I don't know. It's hard for me to give you an answer to that. I know it's a crazy topic or crazy question to even think about, but these are the two guys that I really think Roger McCreary is realistic. DJ Turner will probably need a hope and a prayer and a slight miracle all rolled into one. But DJ Turner would probably be my number one choice that I think is more realistic than the Max Crosbys or the Myles Garrett or the any player that we've been naming. Like we've been throwing out some names the last couple of years, like a top end defensive end that are giving up multiple first round picks, Max Crosby. That's not realistic. I think the DJ Turner thing is a little bit more of something that could potentially happen. It's just a matter of his contract still having some years left on it. The Bengals defense not being very good, so why would they give up a defensive piece? And where the Bengals are in the standings, kind of right there in the middle of their season's not dead. They need a little bit of help. They need some luck. Is their offense, Joe Flacco, going to be able to carry them for the next 12 weeks through the rest of the season? I don't know, guys. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Again, I dedicated the time to do this episode because these are my top two guys that I think are realistic with what we need. Secondary help, just with the injuries. If you were to tell me that our secondary comes back, they're all fully healthy for the rest of the season, go out and trade for something else. I don't even know what else we would need. Maybe another D end just in case, a third tier defensive end, potentially something like I don't even know. I don't even want to throw a name out. But that's just not going to happen. I just don't see the secondary being healthy completely 100% for the rest of the season. So if we can bolster some depth here and get some guys that can play some good football and shuffle some pieces around where some players might have some better success, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to trade for prime Nick or Joey Bosa and do some crazy shit in Madden. I think these are some options that the Detroit Lions could pursue. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Or if there's some other players you guys think are some candidates. I know Reek Woolen is out there. He's a name. His play has just kind of dropped off a little bit for me from where he started as a rookie. He's a little handsy. He's given up like 113 passer rating, stuff like that. I don't know that that's really truly the answer. I think these are the guys that I'm kind of lacking onto right now when it comes to secondary. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm nuts. Will probably be the first to let me know that I'm absolutely nuts. I'm sure that'll come. Hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.